move westward, where land was taken from Indian, Native American people, and just given to anybody who wanted to strike out on the frontier. It was even given, Tavis, to foreign citizens who pledged to become citizens of the United States. Of course, it excluded, for the most part, 99% of this land went to Caucasian Americans. Then in 1865, I'm going to work my way up and lay a foundation for why this is so important, why this is still happening. In 1865, General William Tecumseh Sherman had conquered a Confederate stronghold of Atlanta, and then went on his march and burned all the way down to the sea in Savannah, Georgia, and took everything that the Confederates could use for their war machine, and crops, land, everything. When they got down to Savannah, and conquered Savannah and conquered all of Georgia, Abraham Lincoln sent his Secretary of War, Stanton, down to meet with Sherman and prominent African Americans there in Savannah, mostly clergy, and asked them, what can we do to help you in your transition from slavery to freedom? And they said, just give us land. And so
hold that thought. Just give us land. As you see, John Sweeney, brilliant lawyer that he is laying this out methodically as he would a case. The beauty of that is you're getting a history lesson here. You're getting a history lesson for why. You recall my first question was, why do these stories keep popping up? John is answering that question in detail by going all the way back to 1862 to the Homestead Act, 1865, and when we come forward, we'll pick up with that comment, that answer that was given to the president. Give us land. What can we do? Give us land. We'll pick the story up there when we come forward, working our way into this major case that John Sweeney is the lead lawyer on. You're listening to John Sweeney, and I'm glad about it, right now on Tavis Smiley.
You're listening to Tavis Smiley. Tavis Smiley. Ranked number 45 on the Heavy 100 list of the 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America.
Not feeling yourself lately? Has your weight loss a dream turned into a weight gain nightmare? If you've been trying to lose 20 pounds for 20 years, I've got an idea for you. How about trying D-Herbs? D-Herbs Full Body Cleanse is a natural cleansing regimen that can help you lose 20 pounds in just 20 days. The Full Body Cleanse will also boost your immune system and improve your digestion. Summer is here, so now is as good a time as any to stop chasing those 20 pounds and lose it right now and prepare yourself into a healthier lifestyle. So how about rebooting your system and losing weight by going to dherbs.com and ordering your full body cleanse, or just call 866-434-3727. If you mention Tavis, you'll get a discount at checkout. dherbs.com. Experience healing.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
If you say you care about the community, you have to also care about the climate. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
Spilled your drink? Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading ordinary brand. So you can get back to your night. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cashback you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. Basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Looks like Bobby needs a ride again.
Grab the keys.
Let's take Auntie to the swap meet.
Grab the keys.
Whether you're giving rides or hauling gear, do it all in a Chevy SUV. Head to your local Chevy dealer, where well-qualified buyers get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Malibu, Colorado, Blazer, Equinox, Trailblazer, and Traverse limited models. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
1.9% APR for 36 months. Monthly payment is $28.60 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 15.8% must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 7/1/24.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Listen, when I'm talking to you, you think you ought to do, baby, anything you want to do. You gotta be crazy, baby. Just gotta be out of your mind. As long as I'm paying the bills, I'm paying the cost. Be the boss.
It's the best of B.B. King, all 3 hours of our program today as we celebrate June as Black Music Month. June, one of my favorite months to be hosting this program because it gives us a good excuse to play a lot of great music, which we do anyway, but not like we do in the month of June. Different artists every day, different genre every day. And today is Blues Boy, B.B. King. John Sweeney was telling me during the break that he's a blues fan. I didn't know that. I could have just lied.
Yeah.
I could have just lied and said I did it for you, John. I did it for you. I did not know you were a blues fan when I chose B.B. King as the artist of the day. But I'm glad it's all working out because if John is happy, then we all happy. John Sweeney is a legendary trial lawyer, and we are talking, in case you've just tuned in this hour about these stories that we see far too often regarding black folk and their property being undervalued, their appraisals being biased, and the impact that has long-term on black home ownership. We all know that home ownership is the thing. It is the way to get on the track to creating wealth. And if you're trying to get on that path and they're undervaluing the property that you do have, and they're giving you an appraisal that's far underneath the value of your residence, then it's harder to get on that path. And so John Sweeney is the lead lawyer on a major case that we'll tell you about when we come forward in this hour. But I started this hour by asking John, why do these stories keep popping up? And as only John Sweeney could do, he is laying out methodically, historically, how we got to this place. When we last heard the voice of John Sweeney, he was telling us that black folk had told President Lincoln, give us land. Pick it up from there, John Sweeney.
Yeah, and so General Sherman issued what was known as Special Field Order Number 15. It took confiscated Confederate land, 400,000 acres, and divided it in parcels, and that's where the term 40 acres and a mule came from. The mule was part of a government mule rental program, but it was the land that was important in South Carolina and Georgia. And of course, John Wilkes Booth slips into the Ford Theater and assassinates Abraham Lincoln. Andrew Johnson ascends to the presidency and rescinds Special Field Order Number 15. So we never got the land. It would have changed the course of history.
Stop. This is a history lesson, so this is John's teaching a master class here, and I'm as excited as everybody else. Why did Andrew Johnson rescind it?
That was, he was more sympathetic toward the South and didn't share the vision of Abraham Lincoln, and so he rescinded it. It's as simple as that. He was pressured, I'm sure, by Congress, Senate, but he did rescind it. And had he not rescinded it, this would have been the model for redistribution of land throughout the South. Mm-hmm. And it changed the course of history, that assassination and that rescinding of Special Field Order Number 15.
So for all of you who've been asking that question, not at all rhetorically, whatever happened to my 40 acres and a mule, you now know who to blame.
There you are.
Andrew Johnson is the one that took away your 40 acres and your mule. I digress. It's good information. Keep going, John Smiley.
Right. Okay. We're going to go quickly on this because we want to get to the case that I'm here to talk about. But anyway, the Great Migration that from 1910 to 1940 out of the South to the North, so eloquently talked about in Isabella Wilkerson's
Love that book, yeah.
Warmth of Other Sons, a great book, and I recommend it to everyone who wants to know the history. And then blacks who had migrated out of the South were into the North, attempted to buy property in major cities, Detroit, Chicago, and the like, and they were met with this concept called redlining, where they actually, loan companies actually took a red pencil around and put it around the African-American neighborhoods and said, we are not going to give loans to those folks inside that neighborhood, discriminatory practice, and sometimes they loaned folks money to buy homes, but at excessively high rates. And then, of course, when we said, okay, you got us, we'll form our own neighborhood and our own business and everything, and the model was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, of course, the riots we know, and where the entire neighborhood, businesses, banks, everything were burnt to the ground in 1921.
This audience knows this. We just had Viola Ford Fletcher on this program. Okay. 110, the oldest living survivor of the Tulsa Race Massacre, was just in that very chair that you're sitting in right now. She was just there a few weeks ago. Wow. So this audience knows that story well. Mm-hmm. We were honored to be in conversation with her. We all saw the sad news in that case the other day. The Oklahoma Supreme Court basically threw it out. They upheld a lower court decision that really means that Viola Ford Fletcher and the other survivor will not ever have their day in court. That's 103 years ago. We were just honored to have her in studio here not long ago. So we love Mother Viola Ford Fletcher. Continue, John Sweeney.
Right. And then in 1924, it was a local case to the Los Angeles area in the South Bay Beach cities, Charles and Willa Bruce.
Bruce's Beach.
Bruce's Beach.
It's a national story. Everybody knows Bruce's Beach. Yeah, they've heard about that story. Yeah.
Right. Well, they had a vision because African Americans could not enjoy the shoreline anywhere else. They bought a lodge, and which allowed African Americans to come and stay and to have parties. And anyway, the city took the land away under eminent domain. For the use of the city, of course, they said they wanted to build a park. They never built the park. Just a couple of years ago, led by our brilliant state legislator, Steve Bradford, the Bruce family was given $20 million for the land all these years later. Yep. But their dream was stolen, Tavis, and around the same time, a young man in Cisco, Texas, bought a 2-story hotel, brick hotel, for $40,000. He had the same vision as for his people. He's Caucasian, to parlay his purchase of this hotel into this national chain. And his vision was allowed to flourish and grow. Do you know who that person was who bought the Mobley Hotel in Cisco, Texas?
You got me.
Conrad Hilton.
Wow.
And today,
wow.
Hilton International is worth $57 billion. Yeah. And the Bruces were given $20 million for the other thing.
We had, just connecting dots again for this audience, we had Viola Ford Fletcher on this program not long ago, weeks ago, in fact. And for those who have been listening to this program for a couple of years now, you recall that George Fothery III, who is the lawyer for the Bruce family, was in that same chair as well, John Sweeney, when that story became national news. We had George Fothery III here. Just my way of just reminding people that everybody comes to this studio to talk to us about all these issues. So since you're mentioning it, I'm just doing a little. I'm your color commentator today.
Okay, all right.
I'm doing color. Continue.
Okay,
Continue.
we just have two more stops along our history lesson and tour. In 1948, the United States Supreme Court case of Shelley versus Kramer outlawed racially restricted covenants in California, in the Los Angeles area. And Tavis, this very radio station, this beautiful edifice that we are in now, your radio station, is in Leimert Park. And Leimert Park had racially restricted covenants back in the 1920s and 30s when it was developed. You could not have owned this building.
We couldn't have been here, yeah.
You could not have been here.
Building, yeah.
But anyway, they were struck down in 1948, and of course in 1968, the Fair Housing Act was passed, outlawing discrimination in housing. So that's just a foundation for where we are now. It's been going on all this time. In the 12th century and 11th century in England, they had a aristocratic class of people called the landed gentry. They were upper class because they owned land, because land has always been very, very valuable. You don't have to work if you own land, because you can erect a house and keep a roof over your head. You can rent it out. It's so important, and it's the basis of wealth anywhere in the world. Land, and that's why it's so important. In order to close the wealth gap between African Americans and the majority, is based on the acquisition and ownership of land.
Before I get to your case in particular, give me your sense, your overarching sense of the progress we have made or not made in this country when it comes to housing discrimination. You've given us a wonderful history lesson here. I've learned, the audience has learned about how we got to this point. But what's your sense of the progress we've made again or not made when it comes to housing discrimination in America?
Well, it waxes and wanes, Tavis. Sometimes, depending on who's in the presidency, it's more liberal. You get somebody like the past president, and all of a sudden racism is fashionable again. It's better than it used to be, and there are laws. But you see, and as I'm going to explain to you in this case, it has not disappeared. It's gotten better, but it has not disappeared. And this case, this is a test case, because you Google prominent or affluent African-American neighborhoods, just Google that. And at the top of that list, on all lists, come the three neighborhoods of View Park, Baldwin Hills, and Ladera Heights. Easily the three most affluent neighborhoods in our country. And this case involves the largest plot of land and one of the most expensive homes in View Park, the most prominent and affluent African-American neighborhood in the country. And if you can do what they attempted to do to this family, then the rest of the neighborhoods don't stand a chance.
Over the course of my career, we have, you're right about that, obviously. Over the course of my career, we have sort of fluctuated. There have been two communities in this country, as you well know, that are atop that list. One is Baldwin Hills, View Park, Ladera, that you just mentioned, adjacent to this studio in L.A. The other would be Prince George's County in Maryland. They have been at the top of that list at times as well for the black wealth in Prince. Don't call it PG County. They will cuss you out if you call it PG County. Prince George's County in Maryland is the other, for those who are just curious. Those have been the two wealthiest black enclaves in America. Prince George's County in Maryland and Baldwin Hills, View Park, and Ladera Heights here in Southern California, for those who are curious about where these two areas are. All right, I've got 90 seconds here. tell me about your client. We'll get into the case in a moment. In these 90 seconds, just tell me about your client, and when we come forward, we'll jump into the case.
They chose the wrong couple to do this to. Calvin Sweeney is a retired football player, was an All-American at USC, and then played his entire 10-year career with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Has the distinction, Tavis, of catching Terry Bradshaw's last touchdown pass. A very humble man, then went to work in management with UPS. He married a beautiful song girl cheerleader at USC, brilliant woman, Zivia Sweeney, who went on to become a CPA, and now she's a full professor at USC. They are the ultimate power couple, and they mess with the wrong people.
So those are the clients, Calvin and Zivia Sweeney. Our guest is their attorney, John Sweeney. I'm Tavis Smiley. I'm glad to have you tuned in. If you have ever wondered why these stories keep popping up, again, we know racism is as real as rain, but all these stories about undervalued property and biased appraisals have an impact on the future of black home ownership in this country. This case that you're about to hear about when we come forward, involving Calvin and Zivia Sweeney, is one that will, I think, get your attention, and you will ask yourself, as John Sweeney's already teed up, how could they do that to these two people, particularly given the massive parcel of land that they own in View Park? How is this possible? Well, it is. We'll talk about it with John Sweeney when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Seeking the truth. Speaking the truth. This is the Tavis Smiley Show.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. President Biden and Donald Trump are preparing for next week's presidential debate. The debate will be on CNN June 27th. A 16-year-old white teen will spend 16 years behind bars for the deadly shooting of a black teen in Northeast Florida. Prosecutors say Bobby Dan and two other young suspects tried to rob a drug dealer. 15-year-old Mikhail Queen, who was black and was one of the alleged robbers, was killed during the incident. In Maryland, the Baltimore Department of Transportation says there will be detours, parking restrictions, and road closures in place for this weekend's AFRAM Festival. AFRAM celebrates the best in black art, fashion, and music, as well as business. It's one of the largest African-American festivals on the East Coast, drawing as many as 100,000 people each year. That is the latest. I'm Doug Davis from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Enjoy the start of your Friday night. In Costa Mesa, watch for an accident currently on the 405 North after the 55 Costa Mesa Freeway on the right shoulder, and watch for heavy traffic flow that continues in the area. Also, an accident's been cleared to the right shoulder of the 91 East at the 55 Costa Mesa Freeway. Please drive carefully and watch for heavy traffic flow in the area. And then in West LA, watch for a stall in the center divide of the 10 East at the 405, causing stop delays in the area.
Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all year round. Schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from your Indeed dashboard. Learn more by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers begin a 6-game road trip tonight in Chicago against the White Sox. The White Sox have the worst record in Major League Baseball at 21-58. The game of the day in the WNBA Sunday was the Indiana Fever at the Chicago Sky. The Sky held on for a 1-point win. Big-time game for Sky rookie Angel Reese, 25 points and 16 rebounds. It was Reese's 8th straight double-double. Caitlin Clark also had a double-double for Indiana with 17 points and 13 assists. The LA Sparks are off until Friday night at Phoenix. The Sparks are 4-13 and have lost 6 in a row. Noah Lyles qualified for the Summer Olympics in Paris when he won the 100-meter final at the U.S. Olympic Trials. Lyles of Gainesville, Florida, crossed the finish line in 9.83 seconds. Sha'Carri Richardson of Dallas won the women's 100-meter to make the U.S. Olympic roster. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580 is the fastest growing talk radio station in Southern California. Home to 50,000 watts and an audience reach of 12 million listeners. KBLA Talk 1580 is a pioneer for Black audio content, including our groundbreaking $2 million climate justice campaign and the most loyal, influential audience. According to an independent research study by the polling firm Aviterus, for the second consecutive year, KBLA Talk 1580 is the most trustworthy, reliable, and credible news source for Black audiences and beyond in Southern California. Let KBLA Talk 1580 power your advertising dollars. Our omni-channel custom marketing solutions are specifically tailored to connect with your ideal target audience. We leverage audio, podcasts, streaming, digital, social media, and local activations to get your message out to the Black community. Get in touch with our advertising team today at advertising@KBLA1580.com. That's advertising at KBLA1580.com. KBLA 1580. We've got you Black. Sounds different, huh? This is Tavis Smiley.
That's B.B. King. We're playing the best of B.B. all 3 hours of our program today. It's Monday, and hopefully you don't have the blues. This conversation about undervalued property and biased appraisals can give you the blues, but the blues is a way to tell our story. B.B. King famously said in one of his hits, "Nobody loves you but my mama, and she might be jiving too." So that's the blues for you. But the beauty and the brilliance of Black people is that we always fight back. We always fight back, and so these stories about, again, biased appraisals and undervalued property can give you the blues, but thankfully there always have been amazing and qualified Black attorneys to represent us and to fight back against this kind of racism and discrimination. John Sweeney is doing that right now for Calvin and Zivia Sweeney, and he is just preparing now to tell us about this particular case. I asked him a moment ago, in case you've just tuned in, about his clients. He described his clients. I happen to know Calvin and Zivia Sweeney. You heard John say earlier, if you were listening, he played at USC. He's an outstanding football player. Played his entire career in the pros with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So he's an amazing guy. He and Zivia, wonderful people, and they have been subjected to something that others across the country have been subjected to for decades now. In case you weren't tuned in at the top of the hour, check out the podcast, because John Sweeney laid out historically how we, over the years, have been subjected to this kind of housing discrimination. It went all the way back to 1862, to the Homestead Act, and brought us up to present day with regard to housing discrimination in this country. Now, I yield the microphone to the legendary trial attorney, John Sweeney, to tell us specifically about this case involving Calvin and Zivia Sweeney.
And by the way, Tavis, Calvin and Zivia could have chosen any neighborhood to live in, any part of this country. Former professional football player, CPA, college professor, they could have lived anywhere. They chose the affluent area of View Park to live and raise their family. And by the way, even though we share the same last name, we are no relation.
No relation.
Yeah. But anyway, they sought a reverse mortgage on their home to take advantage of the equity in their home to help fund their later years and to do home improvements. And they went to a group called AAG, or American Advisors Group. Mm-hmm. You've seen their commercials, Tavis, on TV.
I see them all the time.
Tom Selleck is a spokesperson who humbly says that we can help you. You use the equity in your home.
That's Tom Selleck of Magnum PI fame.
Yes.
So
yes.
If the name didn't jump out at you, Magnum PI, Tom Selleck, you see the commercial, sees the spokesperson. That's what AAG is, American Advisors Group. Continue, John Sweeney.
Yeah, sure. And so they applied for them, and of course there had to be an appraisal done on their property. And as your listeners may or may not know, appraisers is a profession, and they are totally independent from the finance company and of course the owners of the home, so that they can make an independent appraisal. That's of paramount importance in this whole process. So AAG goes to an appraisal kind of clearinghouse, and two appraisers were sent out 2 months apart. The first appraisal came in at $3.1 million for their property. And by the way, that's a very conservative figure, because usually the home sales, especially at this time, much higher. The Sweeneys valued their home at around $3.7 million. This huge property that's over 6,000 square feet in their home, and over a half acre of land, which is the largest parcel of land in View Park. And so it was appraised by this independent appraiser right at 3.1. 2 months later, another appraiser, because two appraisals were required by AAG, appraised it right at 3.1, the same thing.
Okay.
So AAG's policy on homes over $2 million was to require what is called a desk review. A desk review, they hire another appraiser who looks at the two appraisals and determines whether or not there are any errors, that the property can support this, all those type of things. And the desk appraiser does not go out to the field. They don't look at the property. They just look at the two appraisals. Mm-hmm. Well, with one stroke of a pen, Tavis, they took off 20%. The first desk evaluation took off 20% of the property, or $600,000, down to $2.5 million. Mm-hmm. And then a second desk appraisal was right at $2.5 million. These are companies, smaller companies, that are hired to do these desk appraisals. And the most important thing is that they never went out and did a full appraisal like the first two did. Went and spent a lot of time there, walked the property, looked at the conditions, looked at all the things that would make a property go up or down, took measurements, make sure the square footage is correct, all those things. And the second appraisal came in at 2.6. There were a total of 6 appraisals done. The last one that AAG and FAR, which is Finance of America Reverse company that bought the paper from AAG, ordered another what is called field review. The field review person came out and just looked at the property, didn't go inside, just looked at the property and came with an arbitrary figure of 2.5 or 2.6 or something like that. And then there was a final one done, which was the straw that broke the Sweeney's back and forced them and caused them to do something about it. The last desk review was for $1.5 million. Now, Tavis.
So we're all keeping track here. We have gone from 3.1 to 1.5.
To 1.5, and remember, the two $3.1 million appraisals were the only true appraisals.
Sure, I get it.
Okay, and so what did AAG do and FAR do? They wrote letters to the two appraisers that originally did this and did all the work, studied the comps, took measurements, took pictures, went out there, spent a lot of time on the property. They sent them letters threatening them that you've made mistakes, that you don't know what you're doing, you value this property, appraise this property at too high. This, quote, neighborhood cannot support the appraisal that you put on this property.
So the irony here is, irony is the wrong word. They cussed out both of them. I'm using vernacular here. They went in on both of them. So both of them were stuck on stupid. And you got two $3.1 million appraisals basically, and AAG is telling both of them you're stupid.
You're stupid, and that our in-house appraisal, desk appraisal, are more accurate than yours, even though we didn't go out there. And so there's this one of the original appraisers took umbrage. She decided that she's going to fight this because they said that you have a certain amount of time to explain your actions. We're going to, in the meantime, you're on a blacklist, so to speak.
So now what AAG is to hold that thought will continue to come forward. Now what they're doing is impugning her reputation. So it's not just that the Sweeneys are insulted with this appraisal going from 3.1 down to 1.5. They clearly are insulted as the homeowners. But now you have impugned the reputation of two appraisers who do this every day.
And you're using them as scapegoats for your ultimate drive and incentive for doing what you did, and we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about when we come forward with John Sweeney on Tavis Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? Come on!
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080. We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Become a U.S. citizen with the help of the Los Angeles Public Library. Get free and confidential information on immigration and citizenship. Visit lapl.org/NAI to find your nearest library or call us at 213-228-7390. That's lapl.org/NAI or 213-228-7390 and start your path to becoming a U.S. citizen with the help of the Los Angeles Public Library. Call 213-228-7390 or visit lapl.org/NAI.
Linking social justice and climate justice all year long. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Ready to re-examine your assumptions and expand your inventory of ideas? More of Tavis Smiley coming your way right now.
More of John Sweeney coming your way right now. Watching our time is getting tight on me. You were just telling us about this first of two appraisers who appraised at 3.1, who was offended by what AAG said to her, and she decided to fight back. Pick it up there.
Yeah, they specifically told this appraiser, quote, the value not supported by neighborhood. That was the reason that they demurred to her appraisal.
So now they're dissing View Park, which is John Sweeney established earlier. That's why these dots connect. View Park, Baldwin Hills, Ladera Heights, the richest black enclave in the nation. And they're telling this appraiser that the neighborhood does not support this appraisal.
Yes, and they specifically told this appraiser, quote, during this review and response time, AAG has directed appraisal management company to exclude you from any orders performed in connection with potential AAG loans.
Wow. Oh, yeah. So they're going in on her.
They're going
She straight got blacklisted for appraising the Sweeney's property at $3.1 million. The price she paid for that, pardon the pun, was to be blacklisted by AAG.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And she wasn't taking this laying down because as anybody whose livelihood is threatened, she's going to fight back.
Yeah.
And
I'm just curious, John, do we know what her race is?
Yes, we do. Caucasian.
Wow.
And the second one.
Hold on. So they went in on a white woman.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And the second appraiser that came in at 3.1, Caucasian also. As a matter of fact, all the appraisers in this were Caucasian.
It's an almost lily white profession anyway. I've met a few appraisers in my life who happen to be people of color, but for the most part, they happen to be white Americans. And again, the irony of this story is you have two white appraisers who come into a black neighborhood and give it a legitimate appraisal, but then the good white folk at AAG don't want to hear that. And they push back and blackball this woman. And I don't know how many years she's been doing this, but I would be offended at some company telling me that I don't know how to do my job after all the years I've been doing it. And I'm a white woman.
And oh boy, was she offended. And oh boy, did she hit them back hard. They gave her 30 days to respond. She asked for more time.
Right.
She clapped back with a blistering 8-page summation of why she came up with what she came up with, the 3.1.
So she defended it.
What's that?
She defended it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, all the way. And also told him that if you come after me, I will come after you.
Hold that thought. It's getting good, as we say around here. Yeah. Our remaining moments with John Sweeney, the attorney for Calvin and Zivia Sweeney on Tavis Smiley.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC. You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
KBLA Talk 1580 is now celebrating 3 years of amplifying our voice and uplifting our community. We deeply appreciate your support of this radio station and will always do our level best to earn your support. Here's to many more years of loving and serving our community. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
I know it's gonna happen without you.
Who do you trust to get at the truth? Tavis Smiley. That's who. The conversation continues right now.
I got 4 minutes here for John Sweeney to download us for some more information about this case regarding Calvin and Zivia Sweeney. As I said at the top of this hour, this happens to far too many black people all across the country. John was just telling me, I want to share with the audience now, when the good white sister pushed back on AAG, they backed up off of her, you told me.
Yes, they wrote her a letter of apology and said that you're no longer on the blacklist. We're sorry. They went away like a whipped dog with their tail between their legs.
They said they backed off the white woman, but the Sweeneys still have to employ John Sweeney as their attorney.
Exactly, because the Sweeneys went on and got a conventional loan from another lending agency, and of course
when they were turned down for the reverse mortgage by AAG, they got a conventional loan.
They got a conventional.
What
loan.
happened? What happened there?
Yeah, sure. They their home has to be appraised again. Again. And Cal or Tavis, guess what the appraisals came in?
Let me guess. So now they're getting a conventional loan, and the house has to be appraised 5th, 6th, 7th time. I'm gonna guess that since these first two came in around 3.1 and they were legitimate, and the lady defended it, I'm going to guess the appraisals for the conventional loan had to be in that neighborhood.
You're brilliant, Tavis. Exactly that. One was 3.15, the other was 3.2, something like that. Wow. So, which pretty much proves our case.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So now there are 8 appraisals done on that house. The legitimate ones where they go in and look at the property and take measurements all came back within $100,000 of each other. Yeah. So now the Sweeneys, of course, they refinanced their property. It used to be at a very low rate that they got it at 3% many years ago, and they had perfect credit. Yeah. And there was a lot of equity in the property. Now they're stuck with this larger interest rate, 8%, and they are totally distraught, and that is the nature of this lawsuit. All the emotional distress they put them through, and we have a cause of action for punitive damages, and who knows what the emotional distress and what we call general damages are for their pain and suffering and emotional distress. But I got to tell you, for punitive damages, I'm going to let them have it, because this has happened too many times over the course of our history. And when this case goes to trial, I'm going to be asking for a lot of money on punitive damages, punishment, and deterrence in the future. That's why I laid out to your listeners the history.
Sure.
This is where it ends, Tavis Smiley.
Let me ask you this. I got 2.5 minutes, about 2 minutes left here. Ben Crump's a dear friend of mine, regular guest on this program. Ben knows how to make these cases, and I tease Ben all the time. I said, Ben, you don't often get to the courtroom because Ben lays this thing out so beautifully that it ends up being settled. Now, I can see how AAG would not want this to become the national story that it is going to become. This is not your job to figure out per se, but what if you were a betting man? What are your senses telling you about whether or not they actually let you take him to court and try to fight this, and this becomes a nasty, ugly story with other people likely coming out with similar stories, or whether they're going to settle with the Sweeneys?
It all depends on the Sweeneys and myself.
Right.
I'm not one of those settlement lawyers. I am a trial lawyer with over 200 trials. I'm Johnny Cochran trained. He hired me at the DA's office when I was in my 20s. I try cases. I really try cases. It's up to the Sweeneys if they make an offer that's acceptable to them, but I'm a trial lawyer, and I think that in using this as a deterrent to help our race in the future so this never happens again, there needs to be a huge verdict against this company. That's where I am.
If I'm AAG, I don't want none of this smoke. I don't want none of this smoke if I'm AAG, and yet we shall see how this works out. So just a reminder to all of you who watch television and you see these commercials all the time for American Advisors Group with our friend Tom Selleck as the spokesperson. That is the company, and that's a fact. So don't try to sue me, AAG. It's just a fact. Tom Selleck is the guy who you're looking for when you see those commercials, and this is the company that put up on the Sweeneys in this particular way. Their attorney, John Sweeney, has been our guest in this hour. I have been delighted to have him on this program because all of this impacts these undervalued properties, these biased appraisals, impact the future of black home ownership. And we already know, as we said earlier, that home ownership for all of us, black, white, red, brown, and yellow, that is the path you get on when you want to create wealth. And we should not be stopped summarily from being on that path. John Sweeney, I appreciate you. Good to have you on, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. President Biden and Donald Trump are preparing for next week's presidential debate. The debate will be on